Obviously, I'm not Gail Kaler. She is on a meeting in Owensboro, Kentucky, and we'll get through this out as little snickering and guffaws as possible. So, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
I will.
All right.
Commissioner Abraham?
Present.
Commissioner Galt?
Present.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Present.
Mayor Kaler?
All right. In the invocation tonight, it'll be Father Bruce McCarty from St. Francis, who is, I just found, from my old hometown of Owensboro, and that'll be followed by Palmer Stroop, who is obviously new to this, a student of PTHS who will lead us in the pledge. Father?
Let us pray. We stand before you, Holy Spirit, conscious of our sinfulness, but aware that we gather in your name. Come to us, remain with us, and enlighten our hearts. Give us light and strength to know your will, to make it our own, and to live it in our lives. Guide us by your wisdom, support us by your power, for you are God, sharing the glory of Father and Son. You desire justice for all people. Enable us to uphold the rights of others. Do not allow us to be misled by ignorance or corrupted by fear or favor. Unite us to yourself in the bond of love and keep us faithful to all that is true. As we gather in your name, may we temper justice with love so that all our decisions and reflections may be pleasing to you and earn the reward promised to good and faithful servants. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Okay. Let's see. Mr. City Manager, do we have any additions or deletions?
I'm not sure. Do we have one
No, sir.
agreement that was added? No? Okay. Then the answer is no.
The answer is no. All right. All right. We have several things to do tonight before we actually get into the heart of the matter. And since I am having a little struggle with bronchitis, I may shorten a few things just a bit. This is the 80th anniversary of the Social Security Administration and the Social Security Act. I know I don't see Franklin Roosevelt out here, but is there anybody from the Social Security office who might be here to... there is. Terrific. Well, I'm not sure. I guess we can go over here and I'll read it to you and then give it to you. All right. Oh, and here's the one that's easy to read.
This is the one you'll present.
That's the one I'll present. What do we do with this one?
That's a different one.
Okay. Oh, that's... Like I said, we'll get through this. There'll be a little laughter and a little hard work. I'm Alan Rhodes.
Julie Webb.
Hi, Julie. It's okay. It says, whereas on August the 14th, 1935, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Social Security law into law, and whereas Social Security is a social insurance program under which workers earn coverage for retirement, survivors, and disability benefits by paying Social Security taxes on their earnings, and whereas Social Security serves as a vital financial protection for working men and women, children, and those with disabilities and the elderly, and whereas Social Security also administers the Supplemental Social Income Program, which is funded by general revenues and provides cash assistance to aged, blind, disabled persons who have very limited means, and whereas the Social Security Program is the cornerstone of the economic protection on which workers can build a comfortable retirement through pensions, insurance, savings, and other income, and whereas Social Security is committed to providing the American public choices for conducting business with the agency. The Social Security website offers online services, applications, and program information for beneficiaries, employers, and the public. And whereas My Social Security allows people quick, convenient, and secure access to their personal Social Security record, a personal master Social Security account is a available source of information beginning in employees' working years and continuing throughout the time they receive Social Security benefits. And whereas the City of Paducah recognizes the importance of Social Security benefits to the welfare of its citizens and joins the Social Security Administration in celebrating its past and building its future, I now, therefore, Alan Rhodes, Mayor Pro Tem, acting on behalf of Mayor Gail Kaler, do hereby proclaim that Friday, August 14th, 2015, the Greater Paducah joins the nation in celebrating the 80th anniversary of the signing of the Social Security Act. So, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And I like to, people always poke fun at the government, but this is one thing I think we do entirely well, and not many people complain.
I would beg to differ on any given day, but
But overall, let me put it this way: I don't think anybody's ready to give up their
yes,
checks.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you very
so
much.
much. All right. Thank you. All right. All right. Now, okay. Next on the agenda is we have 3 presentations. One is the Kentucky 811, Before You Dig, and Atmos Energy today that you all may have seen on Channel 6, but they were nice enough to donate to the City of Paducah trees and for Lang Park and Noble Park, and I have a proclamation which I could read again. We read it like a week ago, but could I present it to you all and save my bronchitis voice for later? Would that be all right? And again, this is about calling 811. That's where you dig.
The importance of that phone call.
The importance, so that we don't have any snag. In this case, snag the gas line.
That's right. That's right. It is a good reminder. The planting of the trees, it's just it's a good thing to share with the public the need to call 811. A simple phone call can avoid possibly a disaster, and that's what it's all about. It's going home safe at night. My grandchildren, that's why I'm working today, is so I can spend time with them. Everyone wants to go home safe. That's atmosphere. Today is an important day. 3 little numbers.
3 number 811.
Thank you.
Thank you so
I hope
much.
you enjoy the trees.
We will. Thank you. We'll enjoy that shade and the beauty. Okay. Let's see. Laura Schomburg. Laura, do you have some guests you'd like to introduce to us?
Thank you, Commissioner Rhodes. I have a very special guest with me today, Professor Naomi Uchida from Saitama University in Japan. She was actually commissioned along with her cohort, Asami, who was already headed home earlier today, to be here in Paducah and research our culture, creative policies as a creative city, as they were commissioned by Kanazawa, Japan, a fellow creative city of crafts and folk art. So it's been a great week or so with Naomi and Asami here. They've had some great meetings, and I'll let her share a little bit more, and I'm sure that many of you all already saw that article in the Paducah Sun detailing their visit. But it really has been a wonderful sharing of best practices from both sides.
My name is Naomi. Thank you for having me, and it's been a great visit here with help of the staff there in the Bureau of the Tourism. And it's a very good community, and I can learn a lot about the creative city stuff here, and so it's been great. So thank you for having me, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, and Frank Bennett from the Quilt Museum.
Thank you, Commissioner Rhodes. Quilt Museum is honored for the next 2 weeks to have 4 wonderful visitors from Cohagen Island in the Philippines. Just to give you guys a minute of information, Cohagen Island is an island of a total of 600 people, and it's 14 total acres, the entire island. And the reason the story is relevant to quilting is that on that island, over 100 of those 600 people are active quilters. And quilting is a key to their economy working. They make quilts, then they sell them abroad, mostly in Japan, but around the world. We even have some at the museum right now. And the revenue they make from that makes up a third of their entire income for the island. And then they use that money, obviously, for food and schools and health care and what have you. It's integral to their art and also to their economic sustainability. Anyhow, I'm going to turn the podium over to Dana Jones, who's actually the foremost authority, I would say, on the island in our country, to introduce these 4 guests, who, by the way, will be demonstrating in the gallery at the museum until the 21st. So please come by to see what they do in the gallery. Go ahead, Dana.
Well, thank you for having us here tonight. I'm Dana Jones. I'm from Gilpin County, Colorado, and we're enjoying your city so much. I want to say thank you to the Convention and Visitors Bureau, who helped make it possible for the folks from the Philippines to be here. I also want to say thank you to Paper Pieces, who is providing us with lodging and a number of meals, and also, of course, to the National Quilt Museum for the invitation to share these amazing quilts for the first time in the United States. This is the first major exhibition within the United States of the quilts from Cahohagan Island. I want to introduce to you the folks who are with me, and I'll start with immediately to my left and go down. This is Katsuhiko Saki Sakiyama, who has lived on, discovered the island about 28 years ago and has lived on the island for about 25 years. Next to him is Junko Yoshikawa, his wife, and Junko is the person who introduced quilt making to Cahohagan Island. Junko had been a leading quilting instructor with Hearts and Hands Patchwork School in Tokyo, a leading art and craft institute there, and wanted a little change of life. She found out about the island. She got to know Saki, and went to the island to live and introduced quilt making. And I had to check to see who's next to Junko. Jacqueline Babatuan. Jacqueline was among the very first quilters on the island. Before the adults began making quilts, Junko worked with some of the school children. Jacqueline was 9 years old when she made her first quilt. And if you'll come to the exhibition, you can see her in action and also see one of her really stunning quilts that's part of the exhibition. Next to Junko is Mattia Manalag, and I didn't say her last name quite right. Close. And Mattia is one of 3 women on the island who coordinate the quilt making enterprise, and also a very talented quilt maker. And you can see one of Mattia's pieces in the exhibition, and you can see her also demonstrating some of the techniques they use for quilt making and applique. And all the forms in their quilts are cut without patterns, and Mattia is also demonstrating how she cuts out cats, dogs, birds, fish, you name it, palm trees, all just from a piece of fabric without any pictures, without any patterns. So thank you for having us. Thank you for taking time to hear from us this evening.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay. All right. Mr. Abraham, have you recovered from your first day at school? Ready to read?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right.
I moved that the reading of the minutes for July 14, 2015, July 21st, 2015, and August 4th, 2015 City Commission meeting be waived, and that the minutes of said meetings prepared by the city clerk be approved as written.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes?
Aye. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to do this a little differently. Okay. It says, I move that a resolution titled Resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Paducah, Kentucky, supporting the expansion of national railway equipment by rebating the payroll tax on certain KEDFA program eligible positions be adopted.
Second.
Okay, and on that, before we contact Will McDowell, I guess I'm going to be I'll be the straight guy. Railroads have been important to Paducah since 1854. The first line went from 11th and Kentucky Avenue out to present Florence Station. Then, in that summer of 1854, in 1888, we actually had our first railroad shops built by the Chesapeake and Ohio and Southwestern Railroad. But the real event was January of 1925, 90 years ago, when the Paducah Sun got a telegram from the IC Railroad that said, we will be building a locomotive and repairing shop in Paducah and investing $6 million. And as the Paducah Sun intoned, and Lauren, you can check me out on this, but according to my source, that the Paducah Sun said that this news would hit Paducah like a bomb. This would be the single greatest industrial event, the economic salvation and future of our city. It was finished in September of 1927, the railroad shops, and I love statistics, and the railroad shops contain 110 acres of land, 21 acres under roof, larger than the island that was just promoted here, 8 acres of glass, which is 337,649 square feet for those who want the real minutia, and 6.5 million bricks for the repair and overhaul of locomotives for the Illinois Central Railroad. As an aside, 1518 downtown was never built here. It was only, as all their locomotives, it was repaired and overhauled here. The local shops only ever built 20 locomotives. It was a 2600 class locomotive. My wife said, don't talk about this stuff, but you got to know that just the 1518 was not built here. It was just overhauled here. Anyway, 1955, the second big announcement when the Illinois Central said, we will be moving our diesel repair facilities to the locomotive shops here. And that was a huge event. The next biggest event would be 1986 when Jim Reed and David Reed and Jim Smith bought it, and it became VMV Enterprises. And in 2002, National Railway Equipment, they purchased. So we've had about a 90-year run of Paducah investing in the railroad shops, and the railroad shops investing in Paducah. And I think that's a pretty good deal for the city and for the railroad shops. And so as we enter our 91st year, I guess, I think Mr. McDowell has a...
Sure. I think the incredible part of that is that this facility is still in operation. Though the names have changed and ownership has changed, we have a facility in Paducah that has been employing people and refurbishing and manufacturing a product for close to a century here in Paducah, which is incredible. So I think it's a great show of support from the city to support this investment in the community. As in 2013, National Railway Equipment announced that they would add 25 additional jobs and invest $920,000 into their facility. Most of that $920,000, of course, went to maintenance and updating of their close to 100-year-old facility that they still operate in. So now today, they stand at over 180 people they employ here in Paducah, and hopefully continue a long future of operating here in Paducah and continuing to employ more people. I sat down with Bob Peterson, their Vice President of Operations, about a month ago, and he continues to see good things in the future for NRE here in Paducah, and then hopefully some more growth coming down the road.
Right. So. All right.
Last summer, I had an opportunity to tour that facility, the shops, with Mr. Peterson, and it's dangerous work. They have an amazing safety record.
Absolutely.
There. Those guys take, employees, men and women, take that job very seriously, and it's just massive. You drive by that facility all the time, and most of us that's local, we never take the time to tour it, and it is absolutely amazing when you see them take a locomotive and flip it, turn it. I mean, and the guys their hand signals and everybody's on point, and it was really something to see. And again, their safety record is with the hours worked without accident is pretty remarkable also.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you like to call the roll?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes?
Aye. Okay, Commissioner Galt with the R&F documents.
I move that the following documents and bids be received and filed. Notice of cancellation for the Paducah Board of Commissioners for July 28, 2015. Certificates of liability insurance. United Propane Gas, Inc., Falconite Real Estate Holdings, LLC, AST Environmental, Inc., Premier Fire Protection, Inc., Ray Black & Son, Inc., Wood Brothers Excavation. Commissioner's Deeds, 1009 Boyd Street, 923 North 26th Street, 2077 Broad Street, 1611 Madison Street. Deed of conveyance with Dolores L. Orr for permanent drainage and public utility easement at 3325 Olivet Church Road. Contracts for services. TNT Cleaning, Uppertown Heritage Foundation, Yiser Art Center, Paducah McCracken County Growth, Inc., Paducah Symphony Orchestra, Inc., Paducah Film Society doing business as Maiden Alley Cinema, National Quilt Museum, Brooks Stadium Commission, Paducah Concert Band. Contracts and agreements. Contract for water services between Commissioners of Waterworks, Paducah Water, and the West McCracken Water District. Agreement with Bluegrass Uniforms for self-contained breathing apparatus equipment. Services agreement with Motorola Solutions, Inc. for fiscal year 2015-2016. Demolition contract with Environmental Abatement, Inc. for demolition of 432 Broadway. And bid for Engineering Public Works Department Police Station Emergency Generator Project, Mott Electric LLC and Nichols Electric Company LLC.
Second.
Would you like to call the roll?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes?
Aye. Okay. All right. I think I read this. Can I read this part?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. In that case, Commissioner Wilson, will you?
Upon the recommendation of the city manager, the Board of Commissioners of the City of Paducah order that the personnel changes on the attached list be approved.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. Very busy list, notably about 100 years worth of retirements on this list between the police officers and Public Works and Parks Secretary retiring. So we have work to do. Some of these people, somebody will take their job. I doubt they'll ever really truly be replaced.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes?
Aye. Okay. Okay, Chief, you're coming up. All right. You want?
I did a good job on the floor. What can I say?
Abraham need to read? Mm-hmm. Commissioner Abraham?
I move that a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Authorizing the Planning Department to Submit a Hazardous Mitigation Matching Grant Program Application and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents relating to same through the Kentucky Division of Emergency Management, requesting 75% federal funds in the amount of $179,856.75. 12% state fund in the amount of $28,777.08, and 13% local funds in the amount of $31,175.17 for the purchase and installation of a new telephone system, including the necessary software to be installed in the 911 center of the Allie Morgan Communication Center building, be adopted.
Second.
Good evening. What you have before you is something we became eligible for because of some of the declarations, the federal declarations in Kentucky for disasters. Because our county was one of those, and we are eligible for hazard mitigation funds. Grant Administrator Cheryl Chino and I thought this would be a good opportunity to pursue some of our 911 equipment that is at end of life that you all have heard me talk about up through the budgeting process and so forth. So that is what this grant is for. It is for the telephony system, which is how you call 911 and how the 911 call comes into the center and it's answered by the dispatcher. We're past end of life on that equipment, and that's what this money is being pursued for.
Okay. Well, we've leveraged our money pretty well on this one. Though I'm fascinated, hazard mitigation.
Hazard mitigation.
Hey, if it works, it works.
If it works, it works. That's right.
Hey. All right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Aye. Okay. Thank you, Chief Kyle. Okay. Commissioner Galt.
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance of the City of Paducah, Kentucky approving an agreement for design and construction management for development of a health park to be located near 14th Street, 13th Street, and Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, and authorizing the execution of said contract. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The city hereby approves the agreement for professional design and construction management services between the city and Branstetter Carroll, Inc. for the development of a health park to be located near 14th Street, 13th Street, and Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, and authorizes the mayor to execute said agreement.
Second.
Okay. We've had some discussion of this, I guess, last week. All right. You want to call the roll?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes.
No. Okay. All right. Commissioner Wilson.
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Accepting the Bid of Mott Electric, LLC for the purchase of one emergency generator to be installed at the Paducah Police Department and authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for same. This ordinance is summarized as follows, that the City of Paducah accepts the bid of Mott Electric, LLC in the amount of $115,250 for the purchase of one new emergency generator to be installed at the Paducah Police Department and authorizes the mayor to execute a contract for same.
Second.
All right. Good. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes.
Aye. Okay. Under ordinance introduction. Mr. Abraham.
You want to read this?
Do I want to read it? You know, I would, but like I said, my voice is, I'm struggling.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Authorizing the Insurance of up to $12 million industrial bonds building revenue bonds series 2015 Paducah Riverfront Hotel LP project of the City of Paducah, Kentucky, the proceeds of which shall be used to pay the cost of the acquisition, construction, installation, and equipping of an industrial building suitable for use as a hotel, together with all related and subordinate facilities necessary to the operation thereof, to be located within the City of Paducah, Kentucky, and leased to Paducah Riverfront Hotel LP, providing for the pledge of revenues for the payment of such bonds, authorizing a lease agreement appropriate for the protection and disposition of such revenues, and to further secure such bonds, authorizing a bond purchase agreement, mortgage payment in lieu of taxes agreement, and assignments, and authorizing other actions in connection with the issuance of such bonds. This ordinance is summarized as follows. This ordinance authorizes the insurance of industrial building revenue bonds, Series 2014, Paducah Riverfront Hotel LP project in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $12 million to finance the cost of the acquisition, construction, installation, and equipping of a building suitable for use as a hotel to be located within the City of Paducah, Kentucky, and to be leased to Paducah Riverfront Hotel LP, the leasee, a Kentucky limited partnership pursuant to an agreement of lease. The bonds are being issued under Chapter 103 of the Kentucky Revenue Statute, Revised Statute, and are to be retired directly or indirectly from the lease payment to be made by the lessee pursuant to the agreement. This ordinance also authorizes the execution of, on behalf of the city, of the various financing documents involved in the transaction, including the agreement, the bond purchase agreement, a payment in lieu of taxes agreement, assignments, a mortgage, and assignments in substantially the form submitted to the Board of Commissioners. A copy of the ordinance and of the form of the basic documents for such transactions will be on file in the office of the city clerk. The bonds are to be retired from the lease payment to be made by the leasee pursuant to the agreement and pursuant to section 103.200 to .103.285 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes. The bond do not constitute an indebtedness of the City of Paducah, Kentucky within the meaning of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Second.
Okay, here's the deal, Steve. Marvelous job. Thank you. You saved my voice.
You're welcome.
Okay. You get to explain to all of us, using little bitty words, what this means.
I think I can summarize the ordinance summary. This is the type of financing that is being utilized for the construction of the Holiday Inn at the Convention Center. Kentucky Industrial Revenue Bonds have to be approved by the city and approved by the state's local debt office, and that public hearing will take place on September 15th, at which time there will be a hearing in Frankfurt and a decision about the type of financing will be issued. This is not like our other bonds that we read and we describe to the public, because this is not our debt, and we do not have any connection to the repayment of this debt. It is privately placed between the owner of the hotel and Independence Bank. They will be the sole purchaser of these private bonds. There will be a lease, and the leases on the property will be used to pay for the bonds. Again, that's going to be between the hotelier and the bank. The City of Paducah will continue to own the property through the term of the bonds. The bond documents authorizes the term to be no greater than 20 years.
So in other words, in these simple terms, so how much are the good citizens of Paducah on the hook for?
Zero.
Zero. Good. Okay. So we can't get any good rumors floating around about this, and we're just the conduit, you might say.
We are just the conduit. Yes.
Thank you. Good job. Okay. All right. Since we don't vote on this, we'll move on. All right. Commissioner Gauld, I believe you have one for us.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance of the City of Paducah, Kentucky approving a parking site lease between the City of Paducah, Kentucky and Paducah Riverfront Hotel, LP, with respect to a public project, and authorizing the execution of the parking site lease and other documents related thereto. This ordinance is summarized as follows. This ordinance approves and authorizes the execution on behalf of the City of a parking site lease with Paducah Riverfront Hotel, LP, for purposes of a hotel development beneficial to the economic development of the downtown area upon the terms set forth in the development agreement dated June 29, 2015. A copy of the ordinance in the form of the basic document for such transaction will be on file in the office of the city clerk.
Second.
This is for the parking lot for the hotel. This is for the parking that will be on the wet side of the flood wall, where the bulk of the parking will be. There will be approximately, give or take, the design isn't final yet, but approximately 100 parking spaces on the other side of the flood wall. We had informed the developer that we did not wish to part with that land, but we would see fit to give them a long-term lease for the use of the parking. The lease goes on to say you don't have an option on it, you don't have a claim on it, but you do have to pay us $1 a year for its use. He has to improve it, insure it, maintain it, and we agree by this document in the event there's some default at the bank, that the bank, in the unlikely event they would have to take it back, we would allow the bank to use it for parking and a successor hotel to use it for parking, obviously.
Okay. 2 more steps on the road to the hotel.
2 more.
Good. Thank you. All right. Commissioner Wilson.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Authorizing the Mayor to Execute a Contract with Paducah Area Transit System for Public Transportation Services." This ordinance is summarized as follows: that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute a contract with Paducah Area Transit System in the amount of $215,000 to be paid in equal quarterly allocations of $53,750 for public transportation services for the Paducah-McCracken County area. This contract expires June 30th, 2016.
Second.
Okay. All right. Any discussion?
No.
Okay. We've supported them many years. Okay. Commissioner Abraham.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Authorizing the Mayor to Execute a Contract with the Luther F. Carson Four Rivers Center, Inc., for specific services." This ordinance is summarized as follows: that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute a contract with the Luther F. Carson Four Rivers Center, Inc., in the amount of $64,337 to provide an extensive youth performance schedule in continuing with their tradition of the Class Act series. This contract shall expire June 30th, 2016.
Second.
All right. Discussion? Okay. All right. And Commissioner Galt.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Authorizing the Mayor to Execute a Contract with Paducah Junior College, Inc. for the Community Scholarship Program." This ordinance is summarized as follows: that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute a contract with Paducah Junior College, Inc. in the amount of $125,000 for the Community Scholarship Program. This contract shall expire June 30th, 2016.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All right. Okay. I believe we have the city manager.
Well, I don't have much here. We are actively engaged through many departments and participating in demonstrations of the various software products that we're looking at in the rebid process that literally affects every city department. So a lot of review is being done and due diligence to make sure that we know what's out there, or at least amongst the products that were bid, so the best decisions can be made on what we choose so that we can get the utmost efficiency and customer service benefits and all that kind of stuff that improvements in technology have made available. So we're excited about that.
If you wanted to say about that or not, since I kind of blew past you.
On the funding?
Yeah, if you want to mention it.
No, I didn't have much say on those, other than those are partners in the community that the city has supported financially for a number of years, and we're all budget items in this year's budget. So, okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, sorry, I cheated Jeff out of some press time there, but I'll let him comment on the Transit Authority and the Carson and the Community College, but that's okay. You got too late. All right. Commissioners, comments? Richard, you always have something.
Well, if I had something, I'd bring it. So
bring it. All right. Nothing about school today?
Oh, yeah, I'll comment on that. Today was the first day of school in Paducah City School System. Everybody arrived there safely, and it was a great day. A lot of freshmen at Tillman still looking for the swimming pool on the 3rd floor, which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
They got me with that back in '77, and it's like, where's the 3rd floor? It's not a 3rd floor, son. But it was a great day, so looking forward to a great school year.
All right. Okay. Well, I have nothing. Okay. Well, in that case, I believe we are adjourned.
Public comments?
All right. Public. Oh, well, I'm not sure there's any.
Think there's anybody out there?
I'm not sure there's any public out there other than people who were required to be here anyway. All right. Thank you all. Good night.